All right, good morning and welcome to this installment of Iyun with Benzion. We're learning Yevamos Zion 67 today. We have an unbelievable share. We're going to be talking about, which basically comes out of the Gemara over here, the concept that a fetus actually is worse than having a child itself. I mean, the fetus would passel someone for eating truma. What's the case? The case in the Mishnah is that a Yisraelis, a woman who's from a family of Israel, she marries a Kohen. Now, they have children, they have sons. Once they have sons, so even one son who's living, she gave birth to a son, so she can eat based on that son. That's what the Torah says. The Bain, even though her husband dies, her husband was the Kohen, but her son's a Kohen. So therefore, she's part of the Mishpachas Kahuna, she could still eat Truma, the wife. However, let's say she is Muberis, right? She is also, besides having sons, she's also pregnant. So the halacha is a unique halacha. Technically, she could eat on account of her sons. But the Avdi Son Barzel, this is what we're talking about, which principally belonged, the Avdi Miluk belonged to her the whole marriage, basically, the Balzal Peros. So if she could eat, her Avdi Miluk could eat. But the question is, the Avdi Son Barzel, which principally belonged to the father, and they're yarshined by his sons, they inherited by his sons. So let's say he has 5 other sons that were born, and now this fetus is the 6th one. So the Mishnah says a halacha, Rabbi Yossi, we seem to pass like Rabbi Yossi, is that the Yilud Meichel, any Yilud Ena Meichel, because it's not born yet, the child is an unborn child, so therefore it would passel. It's more than just Eno Meichel, it actually passels the Son Barzel, the Nichel Son Barzel from eating Truma, because it's 5 brothers. 5 of them are Kohanim. They were born to the father's a Kohen. They're Kohanim, but their brother is a problem, apostles. So the Gemara has 2 different reasons why he apostles. So Rabbah says the reason is because Uber b'mai Zara Zaru. She's a Israeli, so therefore the fetus was born, the father was a Kohen, but the father's no longer alive. So therefore the child is considered Yisrael. So therefore you have 5 Kohanim who inherited the Nichsan Barzal, and 1 Yisrael. He's already considered a Yisrael. So the Yisrael apostles gets to be entirely in possession of the Kuna. If he's not entirely in possession of the Kuna, he's owned by 1 son who's Yisrael, so that would apostle him. Rav Yosef gives a different answer, which is basically the concept the Gemara reiterates many times, singly like Paskin, Yilud Meichel she'en Yilud Eno Meichel. And the Gemara says the nafkamina is even if the woman was from the family of Kahuna, right? So therefore she's a Kohenes. Her father was a Kohen. So therefore the child, the father, and the mother are both Kohanim. So therefore, the child for sure is a Kohen, even when it's an unborn child, the fetus, the mother's womb, is a Kohen, but he apostles because Yilud Meichel she'en Yilud Meichel. You can only feed the Avadim when you're alive, when you have 6 extant brothers that are living. If he's not born yet, so Eno Meichel. What's the problem? So the obvious question is, who cares? Meaning, if you consider a fetus to be considered a living child, right? So the child is considered to be a Kohen. I mean, he's a Kohen, right? Only according to Rabbah is he a Zar. According to Rav Yosef, he's considered to be a Kohen. So it's like you have 6 Kohanim. He's not born yet, but he's considered a living child. So a living child, 6 Kohanim, its own bar should be able to eat. Obviously, own bar should be allowed to eat. If you say that he's nothing, that a fetus is considered nothing, so take him out of account, right? If a fetus is not considered a living entity, not considered a person. So you have 5 brothers and nothing. 5 and nothing is 5. I mean, and they're all Kohanim. So the Manavshach, either way, the obvious one bars should be allowed to eat. You're forced to say a big chiddush over here. And this really comes out is that in Uber, not only is it not nothing, it's something else. It's entirely different. It's a birya cheres. It's not a Yisrael. That was the first opinion. That's the opinion of Rabbah. Rabbah says that he's a Zar, he's a Yisrael. He's not considered a Yisrael. He's considered Beria Cheres, maybe, and different than nothing, meaning you have 5 brothers inheriting plus an Uber. Uber is considered an Uber. There's a din of an Uber. That's the Chiddush of the Gemara. An Uber is considered something else. And therefore, the Avadim belong to 5 brothers and an Uber. An Uber, Manavshak, he's a Kohen, he's going to be a Kohen. I mean, his father was a Kohen. We're not assuming he's a Yisrael. That's only Rabbah says that, but he's really a Kohen. We assume he's a Kohen, but he's an Uber. And a fetus is not a human being. It's clear from the Gemara. A fetus is not a human being. Not only he's not a human being, he's not nothing. He's a biri acher. He's something else. This is a big chiddush. We're gonna have to get into this more. Talk about hilchas ubrim, um, but the Gemara has a discussion whether the mezaka uber kona. The Gemara seems to say that your mezaka to an uber, your kona. You give a gift to an uber, he's kona. How is he kona? He's not really a human being. He's not nothing. He's something else. The biri acheres. There's special halachas that apply to an uber. Again, it's going to weigh in on the question of whether, according to the Torah, abortion is okay or not, but it's not conclusive one way or the other, because he's not a person, which would make abortion illegal according to the Torah, and he's not nothing, which would permit abortion. He's something else. So we have to discuss this, what exactly an uber is, but comes to the Gemara, uber is biri acheres, is something else, and therefore it's 5 of a kind and 1 not a kind, something else, that would possible. This is how we hold the halacha. Hope you enjoyed today's shir. See you in Mishnah.